Well, I guess like a final question or thought that I wrestle with a lot, which is like, okay, I'm just speaking third person. Harley, you grew up in a Christian household with great parents, great friends, great country to live in. You know, you very amazing country to live in opportunity wise. You also happen to be blessed with the jackpot of the religion that happens to be correct. What if I was born in another
Yep.
area? Why am I the lucky jackpot lottery winner that happened to live in the best time place with the correct religion with great parents? Why is that the case when other people don't have that? And so it's like, it's so tough when I go to school with people who have lived on the other sides of the world, and then me trying to be so convicted that the religion I happen to be born into is the exact correct religion. That's one that just forever just is like, how can I be so lucky? But maybe I am.
Or blessed, either way.
Yeah, that's a better probably word for that. Yeah.
I think, one of the things you said before, asking about the question of how much should I look into Buddhism and how much should I look into these other religions? One of the questions that I think we need to ask is, why look into those? A question that someone should have, or someone should ask themselves, is why are they looking into those? There is a idea of relativism that is rampant among college students, especially. Most of my students that I see come into my classroom at, not my Ratio Christi students, but most of my students in my normal classrooms, my essentially secular classrooms, think by default that relativism is true, that everyone has their own truth when it comes to morals or religion, and that everybody's gonna, everybody lives out their own truth. If we're looking into different religions because we're trying to create the best all-you-can-eat buffet version of spirituality that we can, sort of the relativism buffet. I like this from Buddhism. Also, Jesus said this, which was pretty cool. And, the Hindus, they got some interesting thing over here. I think that that's not the right way to do it. The question that you and your Muslim friend or your Hindu friend or any of that should be asking is, which religion is correct? And how do we know? I have had a number of conversations with Mormons. When you ask a Mormon why they believe in the Book of Mormon and why they believe the things they do, they say, I know that the Book of Mormon is true, and I know that Joseph Smith is a prophet. Why? Because I've read the Book of Mormon and I prayed and I asked Holy Father to tell me whether or not it was true, and I felt what they call the burning in the bosom. I felt it inside. Now, I've talked with a number of them, and they challenged me to read the Book of Mormon and pray about it. So I said, well, you know what? I'm pretty certain this is not true, but you are telling me to do this, and authentically, I'll take that challenge. So I'm reading about it, I'm reading it, and I'm praying about it. And I come back to them the next week, and they say, what'd you get? I said, I got nothing. So they say, keep reading. I come back the next week, and I said, I felt God tell me that Joseph Smith is not a prophet and that the Book of Mormon is not true. And they said, well, you got to keep reading. I said, how much do I need to keep reading? At what point can I say that I've read enough to know that this isn't true? Essentially what it comes down to, and this is a question I ask Mormons, and this is a question that we should ask ourselves as well. I have a feeling that Joseph Smith is not a prophet and that the Book of Mormon is not true. They have a feeling that the Book of Mormon is true and that Joseph Smith is a prophet. Whose feeling is the right feeling? A friend who's Muslim, who has a feeling that no one could write a book as beautiful as the Quran except for Allah. Why is his feeling any better than your feeling? What it comes down to, the way we, the word of the day, adjudicate between those two or three options, the way we figure out which one is true, is not by comparing our feelings. Because I don't know your feeling, you don't know my feeling. We need to look at the evidence. Now, is it the case that if you were born in Saudi Arabia, you would likely be a Muslim? Yes. Actually, that's the case. However, if you're the type of person that says, let me investigate, let me ask these questions, like you're doing with Christianity, if you were to do the same thing with Islam, you may end up not being a Muslim and end up being a Christian. So, interesting story by Nabil Qureshi. It's called, the book is called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. He had a number of conversations with a guy by the name of David Wood, who has his own very interesting story. He's literally a psychopath. But he's a Christian. And he became a Christian in jail after literally trying to murder his dad. So his story is really interesting. He's got a half-hour video. I don't know if his YouTube channel is still up. He was saying he was going to shut it down or something like that. But at any rate, I forgot where I was going with all this. But the idea here is that we can't just go on our feelings. And we need to look at the evidence. And is it the case that you just happen to believe the right religion? I think that's the case. I do think it is the case that you just happen to believe the right religion. But I don't think that just happening to believe is a place you should stay in. I think it's a place that you do need to find your faith yourself. What I mean by that is you need to figure out what you believe. And that may be slightly different from what your parents believe. But the thing is, I have confidence that if you're seeking the truth, that you're seeking answers, and you have good resources for answers, that you'll find the same thing that I did, which is that Christianity is true and that there's great reason to believe that. And I don't think that Mormons or Muslims or Hindus or Buddhists can say anything like that.
That was pretty well said. I hope you're right. You know what I mean? I got to keep looking,
yeah.
And I might determine
you do.
that, you know. But that's kind of the beauty. It's like I'm excited to keep learning